Last Clue is a true crime podcast presented by Smith Media Team, LLC. We investigate cases that slip through the cracks, cases where families still wait for answers. From small towns to international destinations, over 80 countries and nearly 10,000 cities always keep searching for the last clue.
Tonight we take you to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, a college town known for basketball, academics, and a tight-knit community. But in 2012, that community was shaken by a murder so brutal, so personal, and so confusing that investigators spent nearly a decade trying to untangle the truth.
This is the story of Faith Danielle Hedgepeth, a 19-year-old UNC student whose life was cut short inside her off-campus apartment. A case filled with DNA, a mysterious note, a suspicious voicemail, and a roommate whose statements raised more questions than answers.
Follow the last clue, down where the light never reached. Every stray detail, every voice nobody believed. We keep the tide rolling for the ones they walk past. Follow the last clue till the truth looks right.
In this episode, we will walk through Faith's final hours, the night out at a campus bar, the early morning return home, and the moment investigators realized the crime scene didn't match the story they were being told.
We'll examine the roommate's timeline, the blood evidence, the 911 call, and the DNA profile that eventually led to an arrest nearly 9 years later.
And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why investigators believe this case was never random and why the truth may have been hiding in plain sight.
But to understand what happened to Faith Hedgepeth, you have to picture Chapel Hill, North Carolina in early September 2012. Warm air.
Yes.
Students just coming back on campus.
Jolly.
Franklin Street buzzing with bars, restaurants, and, of course, a college late-night crowd.
I literally just kind of sat here swaying, thinking about it. But Faith was a UNC sophomore, a sophomore, and she was a member of the, don't come for me, Haliwa Saponi tribe. She was a straight-A student and someone friends described as a joyful, grounded, and deeply connected to her culture. She lived at the Hawthorne at View apartments with her roommate, Karina Rosario, who was also known as Rosie.
On the night of September 6th, Faith and Karina went to the Thrill, a popular campus bar. Surveillance footage showed them dancing, laughing, and talking with friends. Nothing seemed unusual.
But around 2 a.m., they left the bar and returned to their apartment. According to Karina, she wasn't feeling well, was having some stomach issues. She said she left again around 4:25 a.m. to spend the night at another friend's place, leaving Faith home alone.
And that decision and the timeline around it would become one of the most scrutinized parts of this entire investigation.
Why? Because investigators later learned that the apartment door had been left unlocked, and someone entered that apartment after Karina left.
Someone who didn't come to steal. Someone who came for Faith.
And what happened next would shock Chapel Hill.
The next morning around 11 a.m., Karina returned to the apartment with a friend. She said the door was locked, something she claimed was unusual. When they entered, they found Faith lying on the floor, partially covered by a comforter.
She had been beaten to death. Blunt force trauma, a broken liquor bottle nearby, rum, I believe, blood spattered across the room, and a handwritten note on a fast food bag that read, "I'm not stupid, bitch, jealous."
The crime scene, and I don't even need to say this, was violent, chaotic, and this was deeply personal. But investigators immediately noticed something strange. There were no signs of forced entry.
Oh, and then came another detail, one that investigators still talk about today. And according to CBS 17 report, Karina reportedly had blood on her hand the night of the murder.
She told investigators she had touched Faith's body when she found her.
Okay.
But the timeline didn't match the blood's condition, and investigators wondered, was that the first time she touched Faith, or had she touched her earlier?
And then came the 911 call that raised even more questions.
Karina's 911 call lasted nearly 7 minutes. She sounded distressed, but investigators noted moments where her tone shifted abruptly. She struggled to answer basic questions. She repeatedly said she didn't know what happened.
But the most troubling part wasn't what she said. It was what she didn't say.
She never mentioned the blood. She never mentioned the note. She never mentioned the broken bottle.
Whoa, okay.
She never mentioned the unlocked door.
Kind of going back and forth there. And when asked if Faith was still breathing, she hesitated. Then she said she didn't know, but investigators later determined Faith had been dead for hours.
The call didn't prove guilt, but it didn't eliminate suspicion either.
And then investigators found something that changed the direction of the case. You know what that was?
What was it?
It was a voicemail.
We'll talk about that right after this.
Late night, headphones on, door locked, static fade.
All right, before we continue, I need to talk about something that has been keeping me upright while I've been going through this case. That's Fix Coffee Brand. If you've listened to this show for more than 5 minutes, you know that I'm a coffee guy and you know that I'm a dark roast guy. And their Shadow Ultra Dark Roast, it's basically jet fuel for me and for other people that have to sit up late at night.
Is this the one where you say it smells like a campfire and tastes like a midnight crime scene, but
I
somehow...
want to trademark that.
I bet you do. But does this still go down smooth?
It absolutely does. Shadow is the single origin South American roast. It's bold, it's smoky. It not only tastes smoky, but just that smoky smell. I don't know how to put this into words. It's perfect for anybody that needs to stay sharp.
I need that. And you can save 15% off your first order by using coupon code Kyle Smith or by following the link in our episode description.
Then a quiet clock, name on a page, filed and forgot someone's whole life, trapped in a footnote.
Investigators recovered a voicemail from Faith's phone, a voicemail that appeared to have been recorded around the time of the murder. The audio was, needless to say, chaotic. There were voices overlapping. A woman sounded angry, and a man sounded very agitated.
Experts debated whether the voicemail was accidental, possibly recorded while the phone was in Faith's pocket, the infamous pocket or butt dial. But what mattered was the tone of it. Someone sounded furious and someone sounded betrayed.
And then came the DNA.
Investigators found semen at the crime scene. They created a DNA phenotype sketch, which is a digital rendering of what the killer likely looked like based on genetic markers.
The sketch didn't match anyone in Faith's immediate circle. Not her ex-boyfriend, not Karina's ex-boyfriend, not one investigator or in the investigatees was initially suspected.
That's interesting. But the DNA was strong, it was clear, and it belonged to one person.
A person investigators hadn't met yet.
For nearly 9 years, the case stalled. The leads dried up, the tips slowed down, and the DNA sat in storage, waiting for a match.
Then, in September of 2021, investigators announced an arrest. Miguel Enrique Salguero Olivares, a 28-year-old male.
His DNA matched the semen found at the crime scene. And he had lived near Faith's apartment at the time of the murder, but he had no known connection to Faith. At least none investigators could prove.
But the arrest didn't answer the biggest question. How did he get inside the apartment?
Well, because the door wasn't forced open, someone let him in, or someone left the door unlocked for him.
And that brings us to the pretrial motions. Motions prosecutors want sealed. And we're going to talk about those motions right after this.
Late night, headphones on, door locked, static fade.
Okay, we need to talk about something that is the complete opposite of murder investigations. Cinnamon brunch crunch.
Okay, I know you've been talking about this a lot. As a matter of fact, I would describe it as nonstop.
I've been snacking on this nonstop because it's ridiculous. Warm cinnamon swirl, hearty oats, and a real maple drizzle. It tastes like breakfast without pretending to be healthy. Sweet, but not syrupy. Crunchy, but never stale.
It seems like it's cozy enough for a Sunday morning, but snackable enough for 2 p.m. when you're staring at case files.
Again, basically it's the answer to every I want pancakes, but make it a snack craving. Save 15% with code THELASTCLUE or follow the link in our description.
Then a quiet clock, name on a page, filed and forgot, someone's whole life, trapped in a footnote.
In 2024, prosecutors asked a judge to seal pretrial motions. An unusual request in a case this public. They argued that releasing the motions could compromise the trial.
I still have questions about that, but the judge denied that request, meaning the public may eventually learn what prosecutors didn't want revealed.
And that raises the question, what is in those motions?
I want to know, is it about the DNA? Is it about the roommate? The pocket or butt dial voicemail, the timeline, or something else that investigators found but haven't disclosed?
Because even with an arrest, this story doesn't feel complete.
No, someone knows more. Someone isn't talking, though. And someone may have helped the killer enter that apartment.
All right, this is Clueless, where we stop playing nice and start asking the questions everyone else avoids. Let's talk about the theories. The ones that keep this case alive in forums, in tribal communities, and in every corner of the true crime world.
So, theory one is the roommate knows more than she said. People point to the blood on her hand, the inconsistent timeline, the strange 911 call, and the fact that she left the apartment unlocked. Unlocked. Was she scared? Was she covering for someone? Or was she involved?
And then there's the theory, the ex-boyfriend connection. Karina's ex had a history of volatility. He reportedly tried to break into the apartment before. He was seen near the complex, and the voicemail, if authentic, sounds like a fight between people who knew each other.
Well, and then there's theory three, that Miguel did not act alone. DNA puts him at the scene. There's no question about that. But how did he get inside? Why was the attack so personal? Why the note? Why the rage? Did someone let him in? Did someone send him in? Did someone join him?
And then there's the wild theory the note was staged. I'm not stupid, bitch. Who writes that? Who leaves that? Was it a message? Was it a taunt? Or was it a distraction?
Well, and here's the biggest question, the one that matters most. Who was the attack really meant for? Because some investigators believe Faith may have been killed in a confrontation meant for someone else. Someone who lived in that apartment. Someone who had enemies. Someone who had a complicated romantic history.
And if that's true, then the killer didn't just take Faith's life, they took the wrong life.
And that means the real motive, the real story, is still out there.
headphones on, door lock, static fade.
The Last Clue is a production of Smith Media Team, LLC. If you have any information about this case or any other cases that you would like us to investigate, please email us at info@smithmediateamllc.com.
Stay safe, stay aware, and as always, keep searching
for the last clue.
Follow the last clue down where the light never reached. Every stray detail, every voice nobody believed. We keep the tide rolling for the ones they walk past. Follow the last clue till the truth looks back.
If you like this content and you want even more, subscribe to our premium subscriber-only content. It is only available on Buzzsprout.